several questions concerning their citizenship. And in many cases, the navigators either weren't sure or didn't care, or whatever the case might be. But citizenship wasn't completely checked. Well, right now, there's a rumor that as many as, I want to say it's 4,000 immigrants, not naturalized citizens yet, and many of them may in fact be illegal aliens who don't even have their registered alien cards, their green cards, or be here on a visa for that matter, but they signed up. And I don't know if this 4,000 is just in the San Antonio area or if it's all of Texas, and that's something I'd have to double check. But 4,000, which seems kind of a small number, but they may be finding out very soon here that they don't qualify, that their rates are about to skyrocket. Any subsidies they thought they may be getting, they won't. And some of them may just flat out have their health care plan canceled because they aren't in quotes entitled to those kind of services here in the United States, and especially if they're illegal. That makes sense. But I also heard that at least 1 million nationwide fall under the same category, that there are huge questions as to their citizenship, and there's inconsistencies in the paperwork with that make it questionable whether they're U.S. citizens or not, and whether they are even legally able to be insured or not. So 1 million of those enrollees, or that the government kind of jump for joy about, may not be legally enrolled. I'm not even talking about whether they've made payments or not, which you have to pay in order to get fully enrolled and not just fill out the form. But this is 1 million who fill out the forms who legally shouldn't have. So that knocks that number down. And what was it? The goal was, 7 million, and they made just a little bit over that. I'll have to double check. It's been several months since that whole countdown to see whether they got it properly implemented or not. But chop off 1 million from that celebratory number, just because they were not even eligible to fill out the paperwork in the first place. So, shall we go back to Second Amendment news? So that kind of seems to be the theme of the day. Other than that, the poking the finger at ridiculousness, like the ridiculousness of somebody who is here as a criminal, came across the border illegally, thinking that they can just sign up for government subsidized health care and get it. Anyway, Chicago Police Superintendent, this is another one by Eric Reed, folks, has kind of joined with Rahm Emanuel. Y'all remember Rahm? He used to be the chief of staff in the White House. He used to be Obama's butt boy. Now he's the mayor of Chicago. And he and police superintendent Gary McCarthy are both claiming that that gun owners are all corrupt and they endanger public safety. Folks, I used to live in Chicago. You want to know who's corrupt? Okay, I'll put it this way. There are gun owners who are corrupt and endanger public safety. They're called corrupt cops. Now, I'm not saying all Chicago police are corrupt. In fact, I know several that aren't. Same with Cook County. Very good people, and they're very good at their job. But there are corrupt cops. It may be 10%, maybe 2%. If it's one in the entire city, that's too many. And there is at least one in that city. There's probably one in every precinct. In fact, there's probably a couple of partners in every precinct. May even be more than that. So yeah, he's right. There are gun owners who are corrupt and endanger public safety. Yeah, Mr. McCarthy, they're called your cops. As far as your law-abiding citizen, no, they're not. Your average law-abiding citizen does not go running around waving his gun in the air, shooting off celebratory fire, or shooting indiscriminately. The people who do that are called either crazy, or they're called irresponsible, or they're called criminals. They're called gang members. And when they do that, it's called a drive-by. So, your law-abiding, regular, normal citizen-type gun owner is not. So, yeah, I kind of have to look at those things. Now, McCarthy's also one of the people that's supporting trying to force gun owners to put GPS tracking devices on their firearms and buy liability insurance. If you own a firearm, you have to have liability insurance in case you use it to defend yourself, and all kinds of stuff. And this is, of course, because Illinois was forced to start issuing concealed handgun licenses. And McCarthy doesn't want, citizens of his state who have a state-issued concealed handgun license to come into his city. Well, tough. Last I checked, the state of Illinois does have dominion over the city of Chicago as far as the preemption of Second Amendment and gun control laws, and etc. Just like last time I checked, the federal government actually has preemption over the states. And last I checked, the Second Amendment should be preempting every single state gun control law, and all the federal ones too. But that's just my opinion. Then again, Arizona is one of the better states, and I think New Hampshire and Alaska kind of fall along the same line, where they have constitutional carry. If you can legally own it, you can legally carry it. Open or concealed, your choice. So that's how it should be. And maybe someday soon Texas will get its head from between its gluteus maximi and fall in line with the same kind of thinking. There's plenty of citizens who are already there. It's just unfortunately the bureaucrats and some of the legislators who aren't exactly quite there yet. Maybe they just need to go back and retake 8th grade civics classes. But yeah, that's what's going on in Chicago. Of course, he makes no comment about that it's not law-abiding gun owners either. Of course, he's blaming them. And then, speaking about all these huge gun control advocates, the people who just hate the fact that people can defend themselves against tyranny and against criminals and violent attackers. Bloomberg, remember Bloomberg used to be mayor of New York, started his little group, Mayors Against Illegal Guns, which now is merged with Moms Demand Anything But Rational Thought, otherwise known as Moms Demand Action, MDA. They kind of merged together and formed Everytown for gun grabbing. And they've did a whole bunch of fundraising and flooded it all into a single election in Milwaukee. And Milwaukee had a Democratic Party elected official who is the county sheriff, and even though he was a member of the Democratic Party, he's very pro Second Amendment. And his name was David Clark, and they flooded a whole bunch of money into the campaigns against him, trying to get him kicked out of office. And of course, this is all coming from the rich elites in Hollywood and people like Bloomberg and those who support an oligarchy government where, big daddy government takes care of you as well as it feels like and tells you what to do or else, instead of you having your liberty and freedom and the ability to pursue your own happiness. Well, Clark released a statement regarding this money bomb attack against him from Bloomberg and other people outside the state of Wisconsin and outside of the city of Milwaukee. These are all external funds, of course. And he stated, "I'm a constitutional sheriff. It's my position to encourage people to play a role in their own safety. I tell people you have a duty to protect yourselves and your family." It's got the hardliners on the left up in arms. They feel that my message is resonating because it is a common sense message for everyday people. They've run 2 solid weeks, 24/7 attack ads, smearing me and my reputation with lies and innuendos. And Clark's been reelected several times by landslides. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens when the next election comes due, and I think it's November. So, let's wish him luck, even though he may not be aligned with a political party that I normally agree with. But on the Second Amendment, he's been quite outspoken, and in fact, if you look at a lot of his views, you kind of have to wonder why he chose that particular party. But he's one of the good guys. So let's wish him luck up there in Wisconsin. If he does end up losing the race, let's hope that it's a good, solid constitutional conservative from GOP or Libertarian Party that ends up replacing him. Any way, shape, or form, we need more people like him working in law enforcement, people who understand the basic individual right and responsibility to prevent to protect themselves and protect crimes against themselves and their neighbors. And along with that, this just in, folks, at the last moment, as the show starts to wind down, there's a new article just now up at BuzzPo. Of course, if you're listening to the podcast, it'll be have been up for a while by the time you listen to it. But this comes from Stephen Ale. And right now, as of very, very recently, 22 states have filed amicus curiae briefs against New York and their so-called SAFE Act, declaring that it violates the U.S. Constitution and is unconstitutional because they want to redefine the Second Amendment and deny Second Amendment protections to people in the state and the city. The 22 states include Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, that little itty-bitty insignificant speck of dirt that tends to create anywhere from 10 to 20% of the jobs created in any given month for the whole nation. Anyway, that little spot called Texas where I live. Also Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Now, 8 states, along with the District of Unconscionable, Irrational Loss of Logic. The District of Columbia, Washington, that is, have joined together in support of the New York SAFE Act, and those states include Maryland, California. Does it surprise anybody that the Communist Republic of California would jump in on this? Come on. Connecticut, of course, with Sandy Hook, that was saw that one coming. Delaware, D.C., who of course is still ticked because they've lost several major Second Amendment cases, as is California recently. Hawaii, Illinois, Iowa, Massachusetts, and Oregon. Yeah, none of those surprise me. I just like the fact that you have one state that used to be its own country on one side of that, and one state that used to be its own country on the other side of that. Kind of odd how that is. But, of course, the NRA has jumped in, as well as the National Shooting Sports Foundation, New York State Sheriff Association, Law Enforcement League, Legal Defense Fund, Law Enforcement Action Network, International Law Enforcement Educators and Training Association, and a bunch of others have jumped in. And Steve Ale has this article up, and then a Daily Caller also has a similar article on the same topic. You go ahead and take a look and peruse that. And again, the title that went over at BuzzPo is 22 state attorney generals join suit against New York's SAFE Act. So that's your last minute news. Well, I was kind of hoping to have a caller come in this morning. Kind of expecting a buddy to jump in, but evidently he's not awake yet. So, it's good that he didn't, because that brings us to the end of the show, folks, for this hump day. So just remember, this is the middle of the work week. You know, make sure you've got those sleeves rolled up, ready to dig in and get some work done. It's the middle of the week. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but that doesn't mean that you just stop and gaze at the end of the tunnel. It means it's time to keep digging in, because come Friday, you want everything done before it's time to go home, so that you can enjoy the fruits of your labors and enjoy that weekend that you so well deserved after a week's worth of hard work. So dig in, be prosperous, and be glad and thankful for the blessings that you have and the blessings that your hard work are able to bring to you and your family. And we will see you right back here tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Central Time. And this has been your host, Paul-Gregory Matuszak, with this, the Mouth of Matuszak show. And this has been the show for Wednesday, Hump Day, August 13th, 2014. You all have a great day now. And bye-bye.